at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference of Parties in Glasgow in 2021, Nigeria is committed to achieving net zero emission by 2060. To guarantee Nigeria's swift and just transition to net zero, the skills and energy of its people must be harnessed to address the risks and the rise to opportunities that climate change presents, as public awareness is critical to engaging citizens about the concept of a just transition, that is, transition that leaves no one behind as the country moves away from its reliance on fossil fuel. Renewable power that will drive Nigeria towards a net zero future is that of its people, as urgent action on climate change is driven by facts agreed by the world scientists, as this language sometimes needs translating so that everyone becomes aware of its relevance. Going by the above narratives, organizers of Green Waka, with other partners, all stakeholders and media engagement on the launch of Green Waka Carbon Project in Nigeria with the theme Towards Achieving Nigeria Just Transition in Abuja to deliberate and share knowledge on the Green Waka Carbon Literacy Project.
The first thing that is important for us as drivers of the Green Waka project, especially this Green Waka Carbon Literacy project, is that the course has to be adaptable. We have to adapt it to the Nigerian context. As pioneers, we had a task of engaging the UK content. It was taxing. And engaging the UK content, we are able to understand the framework so that we can adapt it. So it has to be carbon literacy by Nigerians for Nigerians. So the truth is, there won't be any person engaging training after I and my colleague until it is adapted. So working with stakeholders, particularly targeting the sectors in the NDC, what we're working on for the next few months is to adapt it so that we can now have literacy for Nigerians, by Nigerians, designed by Nigerian experts. We have experts here, but we cannot be running a content that is for the UK context. It is true that for us here, our issue is justice, because we are not even emitting as much as, so our context here is different. Our context here might be more focused on adaptation than mitigation. So these are the things that we have to The first thing we need to do as pioneers is to now work to adapt the framework and now be able to make it ready for Nigerians to now engage for a workspace thing. So this emitting happens in the workspaces, and 95% of our workspace activities are the result of these emissions. Now, the best way to engage people and speed up literacy is to meet them where they are. Now, this model takes climate action where the people are. Where are they? Not on the streets as you have it, on their various workspaces. The model is so unique to increase the level of literacy, not just in the certificates, because communication is not just talking, communication is action.
Because of course we all know the impact of climate change on human well-being, on agriculture, as well as in different sectors of our livelihood. And today, as you see, agriculturally, climate change impacts agriculture in the northeast and in Nigeria in general. So this kind of program, creating awareness among the farming household as well as the populace in general, will go a long way in helping us to address the impact of climate change in the country. The UNDP, FAO, they are very active in the activities of how to address the impact of climate change, which led to, for example, the FAO, like I said, in developing the climate smart agriculture profile for some states in the country, basically Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, and other development partners are into that as well. As you all know, there's what we call the MRV, the monitoring, reporting, and verification of the CO2 emission equivalent. And of course, if sectorially, if these are being, assessed, you'll be able to address that. But at a generic level, you cannot say XYZ amount of CO2 will be able to clean up the atmosphere, because even at the global stage, they are fighting to be able to define what is the equivalent currently available at the global level. So nationally, if you want to take the inventory of greenhouse gas emission of a particular entity, for example, take it, the Ministry of Transport, for example, they are having, a sectorial approach. Agriculture also contribute highly to the CO2 emissions. So if you pick up a sector and try to digest it and look at it and quantify the CO2 emission equivalent, you'll be able to know that.
Here we have persons who have gotten the knowledge on how we should be relevant in the carbon market. And being relevant in the carbon market entails quite a lot of things. Like you heard one of the speakers who mentioned that the easiest way to talk about this is letting people know that you are going to make money from this, and we have the capacity to tell you how, when, and where. And that is very important, because every day we make use of products that contribute to the emission level in the country, and then we make use of those that also reduce it. But we do not know that if we have some consistent, like for those persons who have their houses fully fitted with solar energy, if you have that for like 3 or 4 years, have you been able to save some carbon? Have you been able to make some credit? And what are the benefits that should accrue to you in terms of naira, kobo, dollar, or pound sterling? You just don't know. For you, you are avoiding NEPA challenge, but globally, for those who are carbon literate, this is a huge revenue for you. That may even provide you half of the money for the solar panels or the whole equipment. So you could do it again for the next house, or if these ones are wearing out, you could also renew them. So that is a huge opportunity that we can tap in.
That this is real action on creating awareness, functional awareness on the issues of climate change. And that is what Green Waka is doing. For us in the Nigeria Labour Congress, we are also in the business of creating awareness in the workplace, because we have established that the workplace is the primary center of climate change issues. In fact, it's at the heart of the climate change challenge, because all the emissions we're talking, most of the emissions, more than 90% occur or happen in the workplace. And what are we talking about? We're saying, yes, we need to transit, we need to move to cleaner, greener energy pathways, but then we must take care of those who are involved in this whole issue of fossil fuel economy. What will happen to the jobs? What will happen to people's livelihood? What are the trainings we're going to give them? What social protection cover are we providing for those who might be left behind? So the shift to green pathways must be a wholesome discussion that must happen in the workplace, that must involve the concerns, must address the concerns of workers through what the ILO calls the guidelines on just transition for inclusive and sustainable economies and societies. So it's very important that issues of social dialogue must be prioritized. We must discuss. Issues of social protection, like I said, must be prioritized. Workers must have some cover in case there are mishaps, in case people are not able to meet up with the transition.
It was gathered that more than 90% of carbon emission takes place in a working environment, as Nigeria needs to move to cleaner, greener energy pathways.